And the Court of Appeal, Lagos Division, on Wednesday affirmed the victory of Governor Babajide Sanwoolu of the All Progressives Congress in the March 18th governorship elections in the state. The appellate court affirmed the verdict of the Lagos State Governorship Election Petitions Tribunal, which on September 25th dismissed the petitions filed by the opposition People's Democratic Party and Labour Party to challenge Sanwoolu's victory. Recall that the Independent National Electoral Commission declared Sanwoolu the winner with 762,134 votes. Labour Party's Wadebo Rhodes Vivar came second with 62,499 votes, while Olajide Adediran alias Jandor of the PDP picked the rear with 62,499 votes. A three-man appellate court panel led by Justice Yagata Nimpa unanimously dismissed the two separate appeals filed by Jandor and Vivar for lacking in merit. In the lead judgment on Wednesday, Justice Nimpa held that Jandor lacked the locus to question the primary of the APC that produced Sanwoolu and his deputy Obafemi Hamzat as the party's flag bearers. And the National Executive Council of the Nigeria Labour Congress and the Trade Union Congress on Wednesday night suspended their nationwide strike over an alleged assault on the president of the NLC, Joe Ajero. The unions said the suspension followed the intervention of the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu. However, the organized private sector and the maritime operators carpeted the NLC and the TUC over the industrial action, stating that it was ill-timed and misconceived. The OPS, comprising critical players in the economy, noted that the strike would affect the federal government's ability to meet its yearly revenue target. And of course, information made available to newsmen said that the organized labor meeting, which commenced a few minutes past 7 p.m., lasted for close to 1 hour, during which various affiliates and state chapters reviewed the outcome of the meeting held between the leaders of the organized labor and the NSA. The National Deputy President of the TUC, Tommy Etim, explained that the strike was suspended based on the trust the unions had in Ribadu. The labor leaders had earlier on Wednesday met with the NSA, who announced the arrest of two suspects involved in the attack in Owerri, Imo State on November 1. And the Lagos State government said a total of 277,672 indigent residents have been enrolled in its health insurance scheme called Ilera Eco. The Permanent Secretary, Health Management Agency, Emanuela Zamba, disclosed this during the flag-off of the second phase of the state health insurance scheme. Zamba said the administration of Governor Babajide Sanwoolu was committed to ensuring that no resident was left behind in the universal health coverage. She noted that the agency completed Ekosha Community Storm 1.0 in the first half of the year, adding that the second phase followed the identification of a new set of vulnerable residents needed to be enrolled in the scheme. The Eco Social Health Alliance is an initiative designed by the agency to provide a sustainable structure for the implementation of Ilera Eco free health plans for the vulnerable and indigent in the state. And the federal government has reduced to 6 counts the fraud charges it filed against the immediate past governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, Godwin Emefiele. The charges bordering on alleged procurement were originally 20. In the original charge, the federal government alleged that the procurement fraud was to the tune of 6.5 billion naira. The original charges were first filed in August. Emefiele was charged alongside a female CBN employee, Sadatu Yaro, and her company, April 1616 Investment. Their arraignment before the High Court of the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja, was stalled on 2 occasions as the Department of State Services failed to produce Emefiele in court. Following his release by the DSS and immediate rearrest by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission on October 27th, the federal government amended the charges against him. And the chairman of the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, Bolaji Awosoye, said it is wrong to tag all Nigerians as corrupt in financial or other dealings of human endeavors. Bolaji said this on Wednesday in Abuja at the Behavior Change Conference and Exhibition 2023 with the theme Anti-Corruption Interventions in Nigeria, a behavioral change perspective of what needs to shift. The conference was jointly organized by MacArthur Foundation, Akin Fadeyi Foundation, and the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime alongside other partners. He further noted that some of the heads of government organizations fell prey to corruption blackmail from their subordinates because they did not read and understand some of the rules, thus getting misled by the same people who would now send anonymous petitions against them. Meanwhile, the lead organizer of the event and the founder of Akin Fadeyi Foundation, Akin Fadeyi, said the event was not just to showcase the work of the groups, but also a strategy to re-evaluating scorecards and redesign some robust templates aimed at scaling up the group's milestones in measurable, impactful proportions. And the Royal Embassy of Saudi Arabia on Wednesday said the visas of 177 Air Peace passengers from Nigeria upon arrival in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia, were cancelled for violating the country's entry rules. The federal government had on Tuesday noted that according to reports it received from the Nigerian consulate in Jeddah, Air Peace flight number P4752 airlifted 264 passengers from the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos and the Aminu Kano International Airport and landed at the King Abdulaziz International Airport Hajj Terminal, Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on Monday, November 23, 2023. It was on arrival at the Hajj Terminal that the Saudi immigration authorities informed the passengers that their visas had been cancelled. Consequently, 177 passengers were made to return on the same flight. 87 passengers were cleared by Saudi immigration and allowed to enter Jeddah. Defending the decision in a statement on Wednesday, the Saudi embassy in Abuja said the deported Nigerians submitted incorrect information to obtain a category of visa that did not apply to them, which was discovered upon their arrival. The Royal Embassy stressed the importance of following the procedures and laws enacted by the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia for all visitors, advising that all passengers should review all the documents to determine their conformity with the conditions prior to departing from their countries to Saudi Arabia. And the Customs Area Controller for Oyo Osun Command, Ben Oramalugo, has assured that the agency under his administration was determined to employ necessary consultations and engagement to frontally address the issue of drug use and abuse, and as well the proliferation of arms and ammunition within its domain. The customs chief gave the assurance in Ibadan during the handover of 64 sacks and 150 wraps of cannabis sativa with a duty paid value of 14.138 million naira, in addition to other seized items. Our correspondent, who was at the display of these banned items, has more details in this report.
Like United Nations on Crime and Crime and Drugs said that between 15 and 35, about 14.4% of the population are addicted to drugs. NDLA recently said that between 18 and 35, about 40% are addicted to drugs. My children are addicted to drugs. Your own children are addicted to drugs. So if you keep quiet, if you don't do anything about it, the future of Nigeria is at stake. And it is our job to make sure we salvage it. Before I came here in KP, when I came there, I discovered that the society was being destroyed by drugs. I brought them to a standstill. I seized drugs and arrested them and handed them over to the NDLA. I have told my officers, you cannot compromise on anything that have been banned, especially drug and arms. These are drug. If you do it, it's a drug money, and on the last day you will answer for it. So that's why my officers and men are striving to make sure that we don't allow those drugs to enter into Osho and Oyo.
On behalf of my state commander, Commander Yinka Jofadile, I, Luke Ayerima, the Deputy Commander, Operation and Training, we are very, very grateful to the custom because you have done well. At least you have saved many lives. Had it been this thing enter our community or our society in Nigeria, I don't know what would have happened now. We would have lost or lose a lot of people. But now, with your efforts, something good has already happened. Because the root of crime now is all about drug. And if we can curtail the movement of drug in our community, in our borders, at least our youth has future. But if we decide not to say anything and we allow this drug to move on and to go anywhere, definitely there will be no future because our children or our youth will be destroyed by this drug.